Welcome to the Death Battle cast. Death Battle's back, baby! Season 10 is here. All right, it is time to get into the season proper. Hey, I'm Ben. I'm the voice of Wiz in the show. Let's go through the roll call here. We got Liam, writer and director of the show.
Why, hello there!
We've got Josh, another writer director of the show.
Hello.
He's ready to get into this.
What a good shirt.
Thank you.
Why? It's like this 90s like
It's
Friends
perfect.
style
I mean-
graphic tee.
Yeah,
So
with
good.
Dom,
Yeah.
Fast and Furious 1.
I love it.
Young Dom.
Oh, wait, Sam's also here.
Hi, I'm here. Yeah.
Producer of the show.
Chad is under the weather, which is usually while I'm here. If you're like, hey, Sam's here. You're like, oh, Chad's not? He's probably sick. That's the man.
Sam, everybody knows you're Chad 2.0.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Replacement. I'm the replacement Chad in case
Yes.
he ever kicks the bucket.
If you didn't notice, Josh's shirt, we are going to be doing a very unique community death battle today. Dominic Toretto from the Fast series versus Kiryu. What's his last name?
Kiryu Kazuma.
Kazuma, right?
Kazuma.
Yeah,
From
Kazuma Kiryu.
Kazuma Kiryu from the Yakuza series. So I have no idea how this is gonna go, but we're
I
gonna be
have
jumping
an
into
idea.
that.
I do.
Alright. Well, I mean, you guys did. Okay, fine. But also, like I said at the top, Death Battle is back. Our premiere for season 10 just came out. Ant-Man versus Adam.
Hell yeah!
Thank you for the
Yeah.
random applause. I don't know where that's coming from.
It's Mike. You can guarantee that's Mike.
Mike, I legitimately wasn't expecting that. Thank you, Mike.
Amazing.
Oh gosh.
Yep. We here. We got new episode.
Yeah, directed by Josh over here.
Hell yeah.
That's right.
So, yeah, and we are just moving ahead with these episodes. Every 2 weeks, a new Death Battle episode is going to be premiering. And if you are a first member or now a planet level champion or galaxy level champion, you will be able to see each episode 24 hours in advance. And yes, the new membership tiers are out. If you haven't checked those out, please do so. We're very excited to be giving new things to everybody for the new tiers and whatnot. If you aren't sure how the tiers work, just this is out of the way. You can very easily upgrade to a new tier by just clicking the button either says join or upgrade or something like that. There's a membership button underneath the video that you're watching on YouTube. Also, it's on like the top right of the account. If you just go to the YouTube page, the YouTube account for Death Battle, and it'll show like your membership perks, but it'll also give you, I think it says C perks. It'll also give you a opportunity to upgrade. And if you upgrade your membership, you keep everything from before, your badge, your emojis, things like that. You just get the new perks from the next tier, whichever one you go with. And thank you to everybody who has already joined planet level or galaxy level. You guys mean the world to us. You are supporting us so much to make sure that this show can happen. It's incredible, honestly. I wasn't really, when we were talking about doing the galaxy level tier, because it's a little pricey for a membership, I think. So I wasn't sure if I didn't think anybody was going to actually join it. I thought, I mean, people like us, but I don't know if anyone's going to care.
You get first membership as well, which if you're confused and you got Galaxy, you can go to roosterteeth.com/YouTube and it'll show you like how to connect your YouTube membership and your to Rooster Teeth, so you also get the first, so you can get all the content over there as well.
Yes. And Rudderman in the chat, literally, it just upgraded to Galaxy Level, which I didn't know that was going to be a thing that says in the chat. So that's cool.
awesome.
And none of us did because it's all new for us.
Yeah, I mean,
We're figuring it out.
Yeah.
One of the weird things about it being like YouTube system is we are learning aspects of it as we are working with it. So, I mean, YouTube's got it figured out, right? So, either way, that's one of the reasons why we've taken a lot of time making sure that we set these up the right way and make sure that you guys can get what you need from them, what you're asking for from them, what you deserve from them.
There's also a weird thing that I saw some people talking about where their memberships are not the prices we have listed. We don't know why that's happening, but I do believe it's actually an iOS thing. I think Apple has an additional fee on top of it because of the App Store. So if you just go through youtube.com, you can get the membership for its actual price. But if you try and get it through iOS, for some people, for some reason, all of them are like an extra dollar something. It is nothing we've done. It is like a weird ass Apple thing, apparently.
Interesting. Okay, I was not aware of that. That's
Yeah,
Sounds
we
like
weren't
Apple.
either because we.
It doesn't just take
we
it
didn't fucking
from
know.
the normal price. Was I guess they wouldn't have that set. I don't know.
No, it's like set
weird.
up so like our $4.99 one is like $5.99 for some people.
Weird.
Oh,
It's
weird.
like the price
Okay.
is just different. It appears to be a thing specifically because of the Apple App Store or whatever.
Do you know if
YouTube
they
doesn't wanna
paid
give
for
them
that
a cut?
already?
I don't
went
know.
To the website.
It is way out of our control. We don't know, but
Yeah, that's
I believe
the YouTube
so.
Apple thing might
my
be worth
control.
checking out. Might be worth checking out to see if you go to the website and try to upgrade or downgrade or whatever to see if that can like shift. That would be my first thing
Yeah.
to try. Right? Is try
Yeah,
to
yeah,
upgrade through the website, and that might adjust.
Yeah, it
but
should.
I don't know.
yeah.
Because I also, these badges are so cool. I want to make sure people keep those when they upgrade.
Yeah,
or
for
whatnot.
sure. They're very cool.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much. A bunch of people upgrading, which is amazing. Final level and galaxy level again. I didn't think anybody was gonna actually go for galaxy level. So that's amazing. But also planet levels is a huge support. Again, our hope is to continue pumping out new content, not just behind the scenes content, but new shows, new series. Thanks to your support, and that is definitely the intention. But anyway, thank you, Kage, for gifting 10 memberships.
Kage, you beautiful person, you.
All right, let's get into this debate. We spent so much time talking about memberships, but also if you want to chat about Ant-Man Adam, we can chat about that as well. Feel free to let us know in the chat. But for this debate, all right, Josh is going to be representing Dom.
Surprise.
Wouldn't it be funny if you were
That would be amazing.
And I'm
We should
representing
switch.
Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yes, Liam is
That's
representing Sonic the
amazing.
Hedgehog.
Yeah.
They will be, it is their job to convince the jury to vote for their respective characters through any means necessary. And the jury is going to consist of 3 seats. Myself, Sam, and all of you watching this live right now. If you're watching the VOD later on, we do this show live every Tuesday at 3 p.m. Central Time. All right. And also, of course, if you want to chime in the chat and let us know who you think should win and why, or if one of these people is just bullshitting you, bullshitting all of us, let us know in the chat. Feel free to chime in. Okay, let's go ahead and start with opening statements. And I think I'm gonna say Liam.
Okay, great.
How about you start?
I would love to start. So, Yakuza is a game series known as Like a Dragon in Japan. If you're unfamiliar with it, take Grand Theft Auto, mix it with some Godfather, and turn it into a brawler JRPG. Now just a JRPG. And that's what Yakuza is. And Kiryu Kazuma is the protagonist of the majority of Yakuza games up until the most recent one. He is the Dragon of Dojima. He is described as the ultimate life form by one of his greatest enemies. He is the most unstoppable, baddest ass, most terrifying to fight gangsters in all of Japan. He is absolutely fucking unstoppable. He's stronger than Dom. He's faster than Dom. He's tougher than Dom. He's a much better martial arts fighter than Dom. He has tons of items and RPG stuff to rely on. He is just absolutely going to tear his ass apart.
Tear his ass apart.
Yes.
Okay, specifically. Well, I guess we better find out if Dom has any protections for his ass. All right.
Yeah.
Josh, 60 seconds on the clock.
Let's do it.
How's Dom gonna be protecting his ass and tearing Kiryu's ass apart?
First of all, yeah, let's start from the beginning. Dominic Toretto, Dom as he's known in the family, started out 20 years ago as a simple thief on the streets of LA. They would steal DVD VCR combo players, and they went from that to international globetrotting superheroes. Like, they are, for all intents and purposes, Dom is Captain America. Like, has showcased like superhuman feats that will obviously we'll get into. But yeah, together with his team, led by Dom and his expert strategizing, they have saved the world multiple times. They have all survived so many car crashes, so many death-defying car crashes. They are like practically indestructible. They're super strong, yeah, like super durable. And most important of all is at the end of every mission, they make time for the family barbecue. And frankly, that's the most important thing that we've learned from these movies. Family is the most important thing, and that will carry Dom through.
I was gonna say, does Kiryu have family?
He does. He actually ran an orphanage for a significant period of time to take care of his like young like stepdaughter or just adopted daughter. I need to play the Yakuza games. They just require a commitment because they're like they are the Fast and Furious of video games.
They sound awesome.
Where they have this very niche, very completely insane story, very superhero anime fan base. It's awesome. Unfortunately for Dominic Toretto, his contract is not going to save him here. I want to bring this up because
I was going to bring it up Josh, if you weren't going to.
Do you mind if I
do it? Yeah.
Okay, so Vin Diesel has something in his contract that says that he can't lose a fight that he's in, which is why in the Fast and Furious movies he never loses a fight. However, Jason Statham also has that in his contract, which is why when they fought, there had to be this like the structure they were on had to collapse and separate them because they weren't allowed, because otherwise it would be an infinite fight contractually. Now, I'm going to preempt this argument from Josh here, is that we are talking about the character Dominic Toretto, not the actor Vin Diesel.
But
maybe if we got Vin Diesel for to play Dominic in the death battle, that might count. But I think that he just wouldn't do that. It would go against our rules.
Mike, do you mind bringing up image 5?
Oh my God, Josh is coming in with the images already.
Yeah. I mean, I was gonna save this closer to the end, but we can talk about it now. So that kind of like that idea of the contract stuff, I believe it stems from this Wall Street Journal article in which Vin Diesel legit like brought up like we should have a point system. Every punch, every kick, every body blow is represented by a point value, so that at the end of any fight, the points are equal. And this is between Statham and The Rock and anybody else who wants to like include that in their thing. And apparently they tried it.
So fucking funny.
And it like it was just like so inefficient that they had to drop it.
Stupid.
It's so dumb. But the thing I liked about this article, I don't have an image of the actual moment, but the thing that was interesting in the article was one of the ways in which they like your example is great, and I'm going to bring that up later too. But in Fast 5, the Dom picks up The Rock and shoves him through, like tackles him through drywall. Just to be able to do that is a crazy strength. Like to pick up The Rock and shove him through drywall, but then immediately after, The Rock does the same thing to Dom. He picks him up and takes him through another drywall, so that it's equal, fully
so
equal.
So they equal out the points?
Yes.
Oh my God.
That's
ridiculous.
Amazing. So that's a thing with the Fast and Furious franchise that we'll have to rectify here. No one ever dies or loses. Dom's never lost a fight.
Tale.
His villains have never lost a fight to him. It's just a series of stalemates in which most of the villains end up becoming part of the family anyway.
And of course, it's a rule that...
it's Dragon Ball Z. It's like Dragon Ball Z for car chads. But
Kiryu has a similar thing where people have requested him endlessly to be in either Smash or Tekken. He'd be perfect for Tekken. He would be absolutely perfect for Tekken. But his creator has not allowed him because he doesn't want to see Kiryu hit women, like even women fighters in fighting games.
Wow.
He's also
more respectable than the I don't want to lose clause.
He's also never killed anyone, which is just a thing that's like, he's like Batman, where he like refuses to kill. And even though there are 10 billion compilation videos of him like brutally smashing people against walls. Like a guy starts shooting at him with a machine gun and he picks him up and like uses him as a shield.
Wait, can you not use guns in...
You can use guns.
Games?
You can use guns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's killed people
No,
in the game.
he's killed endless amounts of people. He just, for some reason, refuses to admit it, and the story hasn't like confronted him about that.
There's not a cutscene where he shoots somebody? That's not a thing in any game?
I don't think there's a cut. If it's in cutscenes, he usually fights with like his fists. He's like a martial artist.
Yeah.
But if it's in gameplay, he has like machine guns, he has rocket launchers, he has like sniper rifles, he has
a
lightsaber.
You beat
He's a
up
lightsaber.
Okay.
You beat up the like head of the other clan. Like when you use a sword, but like the cutscene at the end of the fight is like you leave him alive. He's like bloody and fucked up, but you leave him alive, right? Like there's a lot of that when it's cutscenes.
And even
Luke, I love this. Lucas M in the chat says, "Don't worry, Kiryu didn't kill them. The bullets did."
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
No.
Wow.
Kiryus don't kill people. Guns do.
Oh no.
But I mean, he's also. I think the problem is like he's got to be way stronger than Dom. He does some silly shit in the games.
Well, you know, I am willing to say that for the sake of like doing this as an actual episode, I think Fast and Furious is under-researched. I also think Yakuza is under-researched. I think people will. There are tons and tons and tons and tons of gifs of characters doing insane stuff, but I don't think people have like seriously looked for like actual quantifiable feats.
You can
have, though.
Throw full-size motorcycles at people.
Yeah, you can. Kiryu has stopped a charging bull.
Wow.
Yeah, that's beefy.
He's
it
able
does
to
feel
fight
in line with Fast and the Furious bullshit, though. I could see The Rock or Dom doing that for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
They could definitely do that.
I want to bring up, Mike, if we could bring up Image 1 and Image 2. He fights this guy named Mr. Shakedown, who is this enormous 7-foot tall dude, who is like kind of like a wandering mini boss that will just challenge you on the street. And Mr. Shakedown explains his training regimen that he bought a mountain in order to wrestle tigers and bears to train himself to become stronger. And then later in the game, he buys an island to fight killer whales and sharks. And he's in this pose right now because you just beat his ass. He's like, how the fuck did you beat me again? I fucking bought an island to fight these assholes. So that's just one of the enemies that you fight, like just wandering around. Let's see if you could bring up image 8, Mike. There's one game where there's a zombie apocalypse.
8, yeah.
And here you fights a building-sized zombie monster.
What? Okay.
You know what I mean. You
It's
get
ridiculous.
Me. Yeah, and you can also do stuff like he's like he's out muscled sharks.
How does he take down the zombie monster?
I don't fucking know. He takes its hits. I think he walks up and like punches it. He is able to survive its blows and stuff like that. Like its big like swings. Yeah, he's like insanely fucking strong. Characters that he's fought like Saejima are strong enough to punch like boulders that are like 3 times as big as he is, like just shatter them with one punch. Let's see, what else did I want to talk about? Image 11, Mike. This is just one of the weapons that he carries. It's also a strength feat because he can carry around a cannon.
Oh my god.
And fire it.
Okay.
How is he firing it?
I don't think that's how cannons work.
No.
I think it is if you believe hard enough.
Oh wow.
And he can fight Majima, who is strong enough to like tackle Kiryu and smash him into the floor of a building so hard that the floor just entirely collapsed and sent them like flying. So he can absolutely punch through stone really easily with like single blows. He's super fucking strong, and he has a lightsaber. His lightsaber's pretty good.
Oh my god.
I want to talk about let me talk about because we've mentioned it a little bit for Dom, but we can just get right into it. So there's a showdown in Furious 7 between Dom and Shaw, played by Jason Statham, and there's a lot of crazy feats that occur in that fight. So first of all, it starts with the second chicken fight in that movie, where they drive their cars straight into each other, and neither of them are chickens. They drive straight into each other twice during this movie. And in the first time, they get out of the cars totally fine after this head-on collision. And Dom looks over at at Shaw's car, and as if he has X-ray vision, can tell what's happening with his car. He's like, "Oh, you got a reinforced chassis," as if to imply that he's like cheating because he's like has reinforced his car, and Dom is just driving a normal American muscle car. Like that's his thing. So
He has car omniscience.
exactly. So the fight in Fury 7 starts with another one of those, where they both get out and they're totally fine, and then they are swinging like steel bars and wrenches at each, or pipes and wrenches at each other. And at one point, Shaw hits Vin or Dom in the face with a steel pipe, and there's just like a little scratch on his face. Like it would destroy his, like it would smash his skull into bits, but he's totally fine and keeps fighting. And several times they like are missing at each other and they're destroying concrete pillars and stuff. Like it's insane. At one point, Dom punches Shaw into the air, like lifts him up off the ground and onto the hood of a car with a single punch.
Shoryukens him. Yeah.
Yes. And then, Mike, if you want to bring up image 1, this is the thing we've briefly touched on already, but it's how the community has lovingly referred to it as Dom's earthbender moment, where
Yes.
you can see him lift up his foot, like barely a foot off the ground, stomp, and create this chasm for Jason Statham to fall into so that they don't have to finish the fight.
The street always wins.
The street always
I
wins.
want to be
That's
very
right.
clear, though, and I'm sorry to jump in. That parking structure was already collapsing before he stomped.
Well,
the
they
stomp was
they
like the
stood on
straw
it.
that.
Yeah,
It was like
the
shaking,
Structure,
and it
the
was-
structure gets hit by a missile pretty far off from where they're at. Like the explosion doesn't happen
Yeah, it,
anywhere
like,
These
near
movies
them.
cracks.
do escalate.
But they are
Yeah.
standing on it for, like it doesn't seem to be collapsing in that moment. Like Dom does still like start the collapse, and then he
Yeah.
later drives off this collapsing parking garage
was like
off
a
the
straw
top and
that
survives.
broke the camel's back.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. The missile hits the parking garage. Are they
Yeah.
still fighting after that?
No,
Or is this
Dom,
right afterwards?
Dom, being the brilliant strategist he is, goes, "I know exactly what to do now," and he stomps pretty much immediately afterwards. and
Okay.
starts
So-
it. Yeah,
Yeah, the missile hits it and it's cracked on the top.
Yeah.
So you could assume that Dom would understand that the structures of the parking garage is severely damaged. But in order for it to happen the way it does, also just the gamble that he's doing, if it
Yeah.
really
Because he
is,
could just go through too.
Exactly.
if it
No, but
really
it's
is
perfect.
that
He
damage that
aims
just a
it, like-
foot stomp would just collapse the whole thing, how does he know that he's not going to?
He doesn't.
Wouldn't
Well,
it
he
collapse
does because
underneath
he
his
has-
foot? But it
he has
doesn't. It
action
collapses in
figure
front of him.
in front of him.
omniscience.
Yes, he creates a crack that travels from his foot to where Statham
Like,
is.
Like that is, if that's not a superhuman feat in terms of strength,
Yeah,
that is a unbelievably superhuman feat in terms of just understanding your environment. There's no way that you could just
Oh, it's
know that
superhuman.
would happen.
I'm not
But
saying
also
he's
just the
not
fact that he's
superhuman.
stomping concrete and cracking it enough that it affects the cracks that are already there.
Maybe
To
it's like
collapse a parking garage, I can't, like, that's still an insane feat.
It's
maybe it's like the
absolutely insane.
car where he just has like perfect sense of structural engineering where he's like, oh, that's been reinforced. He's like, I know how this rooftop works in this
Yeah.
perfectly timed kick to the floor.
Yeah, and
Well-
he's got like this spatial awareness thing we've seen a couple times. Like again, another one that community refers to as like the time that Dom had omniscience and then never used it again. But it's more like just this Sherlockian moment where he revisits a crash site where Letty died in Furious 4. And they overlay the car accident exactly how it happened over Dom as he's just like scanning the landscape.
Like some CSI bullshit.
Yes, like he
Yeah.
can see based on the skid marks and the trees or whatever that he can see exactly how it happened, how we saw it happen moments before. Like it's crazy.
I want
Superhuman
to,
omniscience.
Mike, if you could bring up image 10 just very briefly, just because I saw some people doubting the lightsaber. It's
Yeah,
real.
that's ridiculous.
It's real. There you go.
Oh my gosh.
This is the prototype. This is from either Zero or Kiwami 1 or just Kiwami. In Kiwami 2 he gets the non-prototype version, I believe. But it's a lightsaber. It doesn't it's described as one, as something that like it is described as a lightsaber in like dialogue, but it doesn't obviously like hack people in half in fights because that's
It
not
is
the
a
combat
photon
system.
blade.
Photon
Well,
blade,
also,
yeah.
if he doesn't kill people, is that able to actually stab and slice through people? Does he ever use it to
Yes.
slice through anything?
It's just a weapon that's used in gameplay, but it makes the sound like it's described as something that's like a super hot beam that can cut through anything, and he uses it as like it makes the zhung, zhung cutting sound whenever he uses it.
I think
It's just
Dom
there's no
could take a
physics system.
lightsaber hit.
I don't think he could take a lightsaber hit.
I think he could.
Well, I don't think
I
he could
mean,
take a
That's the
lightsaber
crux
hit.
of my
Goons.
argument, really. Like I have a couple.
Goons in Yakuza can take a lightsaber hit or a photon beam attack, right?
I
A
think
photon blade
think
attack.
Kiryu and characters like him are a bit beyond Dom, because
Well-
you mentioned the missile hitting the parking structure,
Yeah.
and it didn't hit them. It hit the structure.
Okay, but let me show you a couple more examples because truly the crux of my argument is Dom is indestructible. Like I don't think you could take
Okay.
him down. So here's
Uh-huh.
a couple
But
examples.
before we get to that, I do want to emphasize, because we kind of skimmed past it. Is there evidence that this photon blade can cut through things?
Good question.
Because it
It
could
is-
be more of a stun blade or a stun beam.
It's stated to be able to cut through anything in dialogue. It's just it's
Okay.
not shown because that's not how the gameplay works.
Okay.
It's more so a reference to a lightsaber than anything. Okay.
Okay, so let's bring up image 4, please. This is from Fast and Furious 9 or F9. Dom is driving off of a cliff. The bridge has collapsed. All that's left is one beam or one wire. He hooks the wire, slams into the other side of a mountain, like they go across this canyon. It flips up, does like half a dozen flips, and then he lands it, and he's totally fine. The car is totaled, and there's not a scratch on him. It's just one of the many car accidents that he survives miraculously.
In that last image, did the car look anything like that when this started?
No. It was pristine.
Okay.
They were just driving it around. That is
Okay.
all from the half a dozen flips.
He's
In-
wearing a white shirt and doesn't even have dirt on him.
No, it happens
Like-
all the time. So we can talk about, let's do image 2. This is at the end of Furious 6. Dom is trapped on a gigantic, like 4-engine military plane. He is in the back and he drives a car that's in the back all the way through the plane. It explodes out of the nose and then the plane explodes and he can't outrun it. And he does several flips again, disappears underneath the wing. And then in this bottom panel, you can see in his white shirt, he emerges totally fine. Like, there's not even a beat of time to be like, is he dead? It's just like they look over and they're like, oh no. And he emerges from this humongous explosion. And then I don't have an image for it, but another one I thought of before we started was in Fast 5, Brian and Dom are driving a car and they're coming up to another bridge, but they can't take the bridge. So they drive the car off a cliff and they jump out of the car
As you
and
do.
land in water and they're totally fine. Like a fall that would certainly kill them. And they just pop out of the water, totally fine.
It's Tears of the Kingdom mechanics.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Years
As long
years
as you hit
early.
water.
Even
You're
if
good.
it's just got to be like 5 inches of water. You don't even go below the surface. You're just like, bloop, like
Can survive any fall.
So just like a couple examples of like every single movie is an insane car crash that Dom survives. And not just survives, but like gets up and carries on with the rest of the mission. Like never needs to take a beat. He's always totally
Wait.
fine.
I'm a calendar man in the chat. I think I remember this because I went on this ride in the Universal Studios tour. Dom runs parallel to a missile that is shot from a missile launcher. And I think you're right. I think I remember that.
There you
'Cause
go.
That ride is ridiculous. It's
It is
just you
ridiculous.
riding through like a Fast and Furious action scene, essentially.
Yeah, and you're
but they're,
driving
like,
alongside a green
flying
screen where
above
they
you.
are, where they're
Yeah.
just all like, "We can do this, guys. Let's go."
Okay,
It's
my
so
turn
ridiculous.
now. We've had enough of the Dom feats. You know what's
Actually, Liam, I think it's time for somebody else to take a shot at talking about themselves. Or rather, me talking about somebody else. So, our sponsor, Factor. That was a transition of sorts. Anyway, this episode of Death Metal Cast is sponsored by Factor. This spring, you need nutritious, convenient meals to energize you for warmer, active days. This summer, I think is what I meant to say. On track for reaching your goals. Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kit, can help you fuel up fast with ready-to-eat meals delivered straight to your doors. You'll save time, eat well, and tackle anything on your to-do list. And let's be honest, how many of you really like spending a bunch of time in the kitchen making your meals and cooking? I mean, some of you might, sure, but I don't. So this is super helpful. And with Factor, you can skip the trip to the grocery store and skip the chopping, prepping, and cleaning up too. Factor's fresh, never frozen meals are ready in just 2 minutes. So all you have to do is heat and enjoy. Then you can get to going outside or playing Tears of the Kingdom, because we all know that's what we want to do right now, right? So cut back on the takeout with more than 34 chef-prepared, flavor-packed options, including everything from keto to calorie smart to vegan to protein plus. So head to factormeals.com/cast50 and use the code cast50 to get 50% off your first box. That's code cast50, CAST 50 at factormeals.com/cast50 to get 50% off your first box. Thank you very much, Factor. All right, Liam, you want to talk about Kiryu?
Yeah. So
I guess you could talk about him right now if you'd like.
I could show off more Dom
Go
stuff.
ahead.
Go ahead.
So when Kiryu doesn't usually do battles when driving a car like Dom does, but he has in the past. He has like taken cars and used them and driven with them. And when he does and gets into car chases, Kiryu has ki. And you can see it like infusing his body with like blue flames when he uses his Dragon of Dojima style. When he uses a car, he infuses the car with his ki as well and can perform special named martial arts moves while driving them. Like he'll do like special things and like flip the car just by turning it and go through two like cars like that. And it, like a big like martial arts like name like secret technique, spinning car of doom will like come up. So he can actually like use the car as an extension of his own fighting style.
So he knows those cars.
He knows Carfu. As impressive as Dom is, he is not a martial arts match for Kiryu, which we'll get into.
Doesn't Kiryu also become like Tokyo's best street racer at one point?
That sounds
it's like a side quest.
That sounds like a Yakuza.
Talk about
game.
street racing.
I think it's like a whole side quest thing. I think you use a taxi cab too, if I remember correctly.
Yes, you do use a taxi cab. That is correct. And that taxi cab can survive multiple rocket launcher shots directly with absolutely no damage. In fact, there's a failed QTE where he's like shooting at people that are firing rocket launchers at him, and it just hits him right in the face. And even though it's a failed QTE, the thing doesn't end. Like, he just keeps going. It's just like, yeah, you fucked that one up. So the cutscene isn't as cool. I think that is easily as tough as any of the stuff that you showed me. And not as tough, however, as this Image 7. So I believe this is in Yakuza Kiwami. This is in the final fight. Kiryu survives a point-blank explosion that takes out like multiple stories of a building. And he's like right there, and when it cuts, he's like in the middle of rubble, and he's like used his body to defend someone, and he's completely unharmed. He's like literally completely unharmed, and he was like right next to it right before the blast went off. So Kiryu is absolutely super fucking tough.
He's literally in the same room. Like they're in like that big hall room, right? Like that's with the little girl he saves. I think I remember this part.
Yeah. So I think he's just as tough, and that's not even factoring in his martial arts, including, I think it's called Dragon Heat. Wait, what is it? Let me look up the name. Well, there's multiple techniques. There's the Golden Lotus, and there's also, Dragon Spirit, which gives him, so the Golden Lotus gives him, like, invulnerability from one direction, so he can like, form, like, basically, like, a key martial arts, shield, force field thing. Dragon Spirit makes him completely invulnerable to like any attacks and weapons that the enemies have. And you saw some of them like rocket launchers and shotguns and stuff like that. Even to bullets, he's completely immune to it for a limited time, until his heat gauge goes down. And his heat gauge is essentially the more hits he lands on an opponent, the more his gauge goes up. If he takes hits, they'll go down. I'd be willing to bet he's faster than Dom, because Kiryu has dodged bullets in the past. Not just dodged bullets. Mike, if you could bring up image 5 and then image 6, please. So Kiryu can not only dodge bullets, he could see them coming at him in slow motion. There's the bullet in the foreground. He's just watching it. He's going, yeah, that looks cool. And then step right to the side and just sidestep it casually. He can deflect Uzi shots with kicks. There's one time where somebody shot a rocket launcher at him and he just sidesteps it. It's the funniest gif ever. He's incredibly super fast. And I've heard stuff about like there being laser guns in one of the games and he'd be able to dodge that too. Not sure about that, but I know for a fact he is a super, super casual bullet dodger. And because of that, I think he'd more than be able to dodge Dom's attacks and wallop him, especially with martial arts, which we can also get into, but I also have been talking for a while.
I mean, what kind of martial arts does Dom know?
I mean, the tricky thing is that, yeah, I mean, he's taken on more like brute guys like John Cena and The Rock and Statham and stuff. Like Statham, I think would be the most like martial arts kind of guy he's fought, and that was that Furious 7 fight scene where they ended up kind of like using weapons, which is not really a thing Dom does. He usually is fighting like, you know, with his fists. That's basically it. But
same with
that's
Kiryu.
where it evolves, where, you know, they've got the steel pipes and wrenches and stuff, and it ends in that that infamous draw. So that's the thing is like, and it's made it such a point where like in Fast 5, Hobbs literally says, "Don't let them get into cars." Like, so it's literally a command he gives to his troops. Like, no matter what you do, don't let them get into cars.
If they get into cars, it powers them up.
Over.
It makes them stronger.
Yeah, because in a car, Dom takes out in Furious or in Fast 9, he literally takes out a drone with his car. He drives up a cliff and times it just right, jumps out of the car, and the car flies up through the air. It takes the drone out. Like, the cars being an extension of his fighting style certainly applies for Dom too. Like, all the crazy stuff he does is done via car and normal cars. Like, again, to like the whole thing about the chassis, it's like he's consistently known for being able to do all these crazy things with any car that's lying around. He can find one, get one, it doesn't matter. In Furious 7, they find a car in a skyscraper at a party in Abu Dhabi, and he drives it through 3 buildings. Through the air, like out of one building, times it just right to land onto another building, and then does that again through 3 buildings. And they're totally fine. And one thing, there's one last image I have that I really want to talk about. It's not super related, but we got to talk about it.
Let's do it.
Image number 3, please, Mike. So this is me. Like, he's Captain America. He freaking, like, this is a bridge, like a two highways going one way, highway going the other over this like canyon, and Dom crashes his car into the railing, uses it to catapult himself off. Like, as the car is driving full speed, he gets out and climbs onto the hood of the car, crashes it, jumps, catches Letty in midair, and then lands on the hood of that car. And then you can see his back. He's totally fine. Like, white shirt again, no blood, no scratches. He's fine. And again, this is the middle of the movie. He gets up and is ready to carry out the next mission. Like,
what if it's
totally
actually
fine.
a speed feat where like every time he takes damage, his shirt is actually damaged, but then he like the Flash like races home to like his pile of white shirts and comes back.
Just a closet full of white
within a
shirts.
single
like
frame,
stuffed in his back pocket.
Yeah, he's just
like,
taking them out.
They've got to be some sort of special shirt, because like people countless times the rest of his team is like in tactical gear. They're wearing Kevlar and bulletproof vests, and he's always just wearing the white t-shirt. It's ridiculous.
Is there something about the white t-shirt?
No,
Like,
he just loves them.
No.
He
is that like
gets
a bulletproof
it's the Hulk's
t-shirt?
pants.
they're just special to him. He gets married in a wife beater, in a white wife beater and white pants on the
Really?
beach.
Oh my God.
Of course.
Real quick, I do want to mention NND Productions, I assume. Says, great job on Adam, guys. Keep up the good work. And we'll say,
thank
you.
'cause we'll get to the vote and whatnot in just a little bit. But I do want to say, like, if you have not seen Ant-Man Adam, the team did an incredible job putting it together. Josh, his
Certainly
director.
did.
This is DJ's first full episode that he edited, which I think he did a phenomenal job with. We oh man, we have we got him on an episode with comic book characters explicitly, right? And this
Mhm.
isn't the Scott Lang Ant-Man, so he can't like always rely on the movie stuff. So it's the majority of the edit is still images and comic panels and whatnot, which is so much harder to edit.
Yeah.
Make it like an engaging video with than just like movie clips and whatnot.
Yeah.
So DJ kicked so much ass putting that together. So,
There's no way you could ever guess that it was his first episode. Like there's no way. It's incredible. He's like he's a seasoned death battle editor right out of the gate. It's incredible.
Love it, yeah. And of course the animation team just knocked it out of the park with
Yeah.
an incredible
That death.
like creative.
Yeah, the ending is really gross.
Yeah, the ending is like
Totally.
sick. Like one of us
Yeah.
deserves to be put down like a dog.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Oh. If it's gonna be
I mean-
somebody.
No, I think whoever came up with it needs to be sent away to the Northern Undead Asylum.
I don't really
Which
remember
perhaps will be-
how we locked down that death specifically, but I know we wanted to involve shrinking. I mean,
Yeah.
let's be
Yeah.
honest. It definitely started with. I know how we
We knew.
started it.
Yep.
Yeah.
We
I
all know
thought-
how we started
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah.
The Ant-Man
Yeah.
way, he goes up somebody's butt. What happens
Yeah,
then?
yeah.
But we didn't want to do that specifically, so we
Yeah, I mean, we had to talk about the butt in the room when we started. And, like, we have to address this somehow, and this was our take on it.
Should whoever wins go up the ass and expand? Forget I
Yes.
said that. Let's move
We were
on.
You're like, we can't do the ass, but what if it was like ants? Ants.
And we're just not explicit, you know. Like, how did the ants get inside Adam? We'll
They
leave
shrunk.
that up to you. You know, that's you can
They
decide
passed through the pores
which
of his skin.
entry point.
His ass skin.
Yeah, nice
I
and
want to talk
gross.
about Kiryu's martial arts because this shit's insane. So his fighting style
Please.
in Yakuza 0, he has 3 fighting styles called like Brawler, Rusher, and Beast or something like that. It's essentially like brute strength, super fast movement, and then technique. He merges those and masters them in a style that he's later known for in the rest of the game series called the Dragon of Dojima style. And it's basically like the best martial arts style ever. He fights this character, one of the super bosses of the series called Joe Amon. Now, Joe Amon used a machine to like digitally fight literally thousands of martial artists, beat them, killed them, and mastered every single one of their thousands of martial arts. And Kiryu beat his fucking ass. He also, and Joe Amon literally calls him the ultimate life form. He also fights I believe his father, So Amon, who is a magic wizard. This isn't even in the zombie game. This is just in the regular game, who can like telekinetically control helicopters and will use them to like shoot missiles while you're brawling him at the same time. And survive those attacks. He can do the Kenshiro thing where he like launches you up in the air with a punch and then does the thing. He does it so accurately to the point that like in the Fist of the North Star game, which is just a Yakuza game, there is a Kiryu skin for Kenshiro. That's not a real feat, but it just shows you that that's that's basically his fighting style.
Yeah.
And he was able to fight like over 100 Yakuza at once. They like all surrounded him, and he just took
He's
them all
pretty
on and beat
much
them all.
the Yakuza version of Guts, is what we're saying.
Yes, that's a great way of putting it. So I think that like he would absolutely have a martial arts edge over Dom, even if Dom had some fighting. I mean, Dom's fighting style is just like straight up brawler, but like even if it was something that he was not familiar with, Kiryu can instantly learn any martial art that he sees just by witnessing a few moves. That's how he's like introduced to new martial arts. He'll see like somebody do a cool move and he'll go, "Oh!" and the camera will like zoom in, and then he like his brain goes like, "Ba-da-da-da-da-da," and then he like learns it.
Of course.
And there's also, and I wanted to save this for near the end, which we are like.
We are.
There's also
Yeah.
there's also items. It's an RPG, and it comes with all the standard items. You can get basically an infinite amount of healing items. You can get like attack up items, defense up items, and something called the Sacrifice Stone. You can get as many of these as you want, it's a Phoenix Down. It'll revive you at full health should you die. So with that,
Yeah,
I think
we
that-
talk about this like every week. When you die, you're dead. The death battle would be over at that point, so I don't think it matters.
You
It depends on
immediately
the
come back to
situation,
life. You immediately,
Yeah.
it's like a Phoenix Down. It's like literally a Final Fantasy style.
I mean,
Phoenix
if
Down.
we're
He also
giving
has
him an
items that
infinite amount of those, then there's no point for the death battle.
Well, I think you
You
can
know,
only
you could have
carry,
an
you can
infinite-
carry 99, right? You can't carry.
yeah, like 99.
So
Yeah.
Dom has to kill him 100 times.
He'll do it.
And I
He
think
has
based
to.
on everything, like Kiryu would absolutely be able to handle him. Like the fact that he's like Dom is much more formidable in his car. Well, Kiryu can also get into a car and also imbue it with his ki and use martial arts car moves with his ki. You could still argue that Dom is more formidable in his car, even though I might argue that with like the rocket launcher feat where the car isn't even damaged at all. I think you could argue that his car is more durable. But even if it isn't, I think evenally he's going to be able to get
can
Dom
always
out of
just
the
find
car.
another car.
And yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But he'd be able to get in and rip him out, and fight him hand to hand. That's how every fight in.
So in response to
Fast and
to a
Furious
hand-to-hand fight,
understands.
like in response to the martial arts stuff, there's a moment in F9 where Dom is getting bombarded by it's at least like a dozen guys, and they like swarm him. There's nothing he can do. They get to the point where like all their hands are on him and he can't move. And so Dom is like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? He looks up and sees a couple of chains that are attached to the roof of the tunnel that they're in. And he grabs the chains and rips them down and has the tunnel collapse on all of them. And then they all plummet into there's like a reservoir underneath them. They fall into the water, and all those men presumably die. But Dom is fine.
None
He
of
just
them
can't
emerge
swim.
again. It's
He's
just
fine.
All of them are
Isn't
drowned
even wet.
or buried under rubble.
Right.
Dom survives.
So
of course.
even in a moment where he's like physically overwhelmed, he still will piece together something. And it's the kind of thing, it's that trope in all these movies where Dom will figure out a way to have you defeat yourself. And it's consistently what it is.
I don't think he can rely on that with the Dragon of Dojima, because Kiryu also has like the John Wick-esque, like, oh, I'll grab this one item and use it in like a special finishing move thing. I'm going to hit you with a stapler. I'm going to shove you into a trash can. I'm going to grab a stop sign, rip it out, and then like smash you with it. He also has that same kind of like stuff built into his game. So I think.
Sorry, I just saw this.
Yeah,
Torque
yeah.
on a lot, like, just is like, oh yes, he grabbed those load-bearing chains.
Yeah,
That's just how tunnels work.
Yeah.
That doesn't even make any sense that he could just grab them and collapse the whole tunnel. Like that defies reality. It's insane.
I also, Mike, I'm gonna send you this image right now. This is a really important image. I think this is the most important image of all time. Oh wait, fucking
The most
God!
important
Ugh,
image of all
every
time.
single fucking.
Whoa.
Ah!
Okay, we got some build-up. I'm excited to
this
see
is-
the most important
this is
image of
seriously-
all
Oh my God,
time.
you know, it's
It's
like
high-
Here
crazy.
we go.
I'm gonna
High
kill everyone.
standards for an image.
I'm sending it to you right.
Oh, you're getting it right now.
Right now.
Okay.
I think that.
Wait, who are you sending
truly,
it to?
I
What's
sent
happening?
I sent it to Mike. I sent it to
Okay.
Mike, and I'd like you to post it on screen, Mike, once you're able to. Yakuza. Kiryu will never be matched with something that he has not encountered before. Yakuza is the most batshit insane series of all time. He has done it all. He has seen it all. Every person that he interacts with is completely different, and he needs to interact with them in a different way to help them, and he just always does for some reason. There's nothing he hasn't encountered. I'm vamping right now, but his abilities at encountering things of a variety of different degrees, I sent it to you over Slack, Mike, is so incredible that he's even fought pirate ghosts.
Yeah.
And I don't think Dom has ever fought pirate fucking ghosts.
Not yet.
Not yet.
No spoilers
This is a
for Fast
two-part-
10.
This is a two-part finale.
Yeah, I mean, Fast 10 is brand new, so who knows? Maybe there's pirate ghosts there.
Where did I go?
Oh.
Yeah.
No, Josh is just
Oh, no.
bars.
I know, that argument was pretty good, wasn't it?
Uh-oh, what
Oh
happened?
no!
Okay,
You
okay.
can still hear me
Well-
though, right?
I
Yes,
sent
we
Josh to
can,
the
we
Shadow
can.
Realm.
OBS apparently is breaking on Josh.
Yeah.
I don't know why,
Yeah.
but
For
either way, there he
Only
is.
bullshit.
Or
And it's describing Josh's argument.
or is that evidence that Josh is a pirate ghost?
Right.
I don't know how that would be evidence, but you know, we can.
No, I like only bullshit. I thought that was cool. It was a good pickup on my part. I like that more.
All right. So last thing before we get to the poll, because we haven't really discussed this yet. Dom obviously has the most powerful ability we've ever seen in this show. How does Kiryu survive family?
Kiryu has his own family. He has his own orphanage, and those are little children.
But can
That makes you
help him
more
fight?
important.
Will the orphans help him fight? Is he willing to send the orphans into battle?
He will not. Well, are we saying Dom gets outside help, or are we simply saying that his spirit
Dom is clearly
helped
energized by the fact that his family
Fueled
can
by
fight.
I'm saying
right?
that Kiryu is
Runs on
energized
family.
by his orphanage. Also, I forgot the time that the Yakuza 7 cast fought a wrecking crane machine. And when they fought Kiryu, like the main one went up and like punched him right in the head, and it did absolutely nothing. Like he punches him right in the forehead, and Kiryu just stands there and takes it. So yeah, he can take on vehicles very easily. And also, I feel that the orphanage. I think that's because look, in storytelling, adults here, children here.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's just how it works, and it's unfair.
In context
And
of
it's
what?
bullshit. In the context of importance and spiritual need to protect
Okay.
children greater
The
than
most
adults.
minor of spoilers for Fast 10, which I saw over the weekend, but a child does join the fray. I'll just leave it at that. There is
Okay,
now
then-
a child.
then he gets
in
Majima.
this
Then he gets
franchise.
So okay. I mean, protection is different from.
Is this
combat.
a real argument that we're talking about? Is this like that was a bit?
The only argument that matters, it's family.
Yeah, it is. It needs to be figured out at the end
I
here.
thought it was a
How do we
bit. I wasn't
quantify
really
his
thinking
family abilities? Whoa.
quantifiable.
Exactly.
Oh, thank
Look at
you,
this.
Mike.
Mike knows. Mike knows.
I thought you said no gifts.
All right. Let's
Only
get
if
to
they're
this.
opaque gifts.
Only if they're only partially visible. All right.
I asked
Oh,
him
it
if I could
happened
use gifts
again.
beforehand because there's so
Yeah.
many good Yakuza gifts, and he was like,
Yeah,
probably not."
unfortunately, YouTube has a problem with GIFs, so we can't do that generally. That's why we use images. But either way, I'll make the poll real quick. But let's go ahead and get some, I guess, closing arguments in regarding how. Oh, Josh, you have something you want to say?
No, I'm
he's
back.
Oh no, you're just back. I didn't see
Apologies.
that. All right. Well, all right. I've got the poll up right now. There we go, or it's coming up right now. So closing arguments, closing
You
statements.
go first, just in case my camera goes out again.
Go for
Okay.
it.
So ultimately, I think the crux of it, as I mentioned it, is I think Dom's indestructible. We've seen him; he should have died in every one of these movies countless times. He's walked away from the craziest of things and has made it out fine. And my closing argument is similar to what we landed on. It's all about family. And if you don't vote for me, guys, do it for Paul.
Oh,
Rest in
wow.
peace. Rest in peace,
Wow.
Paul. That's my closing argument.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
Liam, can you even follow up on that?
Yeah, absolutely. That's easy. Okay, so by feats, Kiryu's stronger, faster, tougher. Fuck this Dom is invulnerable stuff. Kiryu has better feats. Quantifiably, very obviously better feats. He has better equipment. He uses a larger variety of stuff. He has RPG items that Dom has just no like in-universe answer to that up his health, his strength, his defense, that revives him. That's actual invulnerability. He can use cars too and infuse them with his chi, and he's a better martial artist. He fought a guy that bought a mountain in an island, and also like, how dare Josh besmirch the memory of Paul by invoking his name to win a debate on YouTube?
Liam,
That's
the
my
rule is,
counter argument. That's
the
my
rule is
fucking
by
counter argument.
any
How
means
cheesy.
necessary.
By any means
And
necessary.
is this
They
not
did it in the movies.
a meme? Is this not a
They
meme?
kinda did.
Is invoking the tastelessness of that and the true disgusting, like, politicking of that not also a meme? I think so. Freedom of speech is not freedom from consequences, Josh. That was supposed to be a mic drop, but it was my mouse.
I stand
Should
by
we
it.
get to
Liam is the one
community
who
vote?
we always, talk about how we know whenever we're reading through a script, it's Liam because there's like 5 different shit or fuck or like horrible jokes, the worst jokes imaginable. So. All right, let's go ahead and get to these votes. But we first got to start with the community page that you guys responded to before the show began. So let's go ahead and bring up the answers from that, starting with the first answer from the community page. I can go ahead and
We don't
read
have
through that.
answers. We just have the poll this week.
We don't have answers. Okay,
Oh,
never
okay.
mind.
And
Then,
spoiler alert, there were no answers for Dom that were
Come
not
on,
just
guys.
memes about family. There were
Oh, well, then
plenty
you
of
should just
answers
pick
for
one of
Dom.
those. Why didn't you
All
just
of
pick
them
that?
were memes about family because I knew we would have already burned the joke by this point. And we
Yeah. Right out of the
Okay,
gate. I mean,
okay.
It had to happen.
Then let's go ahead and get to the community page vote and see what our first vote, our first score is, our first point. It goes to Kiryu. That is 78% of the community vote.
Wow.
So that is 1 point for Kiryu. Okay, but we still have our votes and your vote
bars
from the
again.
live chat as Josh continues to struggle
dead.
to appear.
You guys killed me.
Not yet. Hang on. We still have a couple more votes left. Sam.
I'm
you
not
voting
even, it's Kiryu. There's nothing, that's it.
I vote for Kiryu. Okay.
Yeah.
No reason, just doing it.
by my side.
No, I
all
mean, the reason
along.
is because he's like, he dodges bullets, he stops bulls from charging, he can throw motorcycles. Like, he's just, I think, on a different level entirely. He is
Wow,
much
okay.
more a super cartoon human than just like a action movie man.
When was the last time you watched a fast movie? Because Dom's
Fast
a
and Furious
cartoon
2?
human.
Seriously. Yeah.
Dom is okay. So
Everyone
in
go
the
watch Fast 10.
later,
It's great.
in the later Fast movies, he definitely becomes a ridiculously cartoon human. I think I gotta go with Dom. I think it's gonna be really hard for Kiryu to actually take him down.
Welcome to the
because-
family, Ben.
I mean, if you can't even damage his white shirt, how are you supposed to damage Dom?
Yeah.
And at the end of the
Yeah.
day, I guess I'm gonna, maybe Kiryu's stronger, maybe Kiryu's faster, maybe Kiryu has a lightsaber,
Oh yeah, I forgot.
but he's not doing it for Paul.
That's right.
So I gotta
Fucking
do it. I gotta do it. I gotta vote for Dom. All right. And go ahead and get your votes in the chat.
Come on,
As
chat.
we are wrapping that up, I do want to real quick just remind everybody that RTX is coming up pretty soon. RTX is happening July 7th through July 9th. And it's our favorite time of year because we get to hang out with you guys. You guys come out and we just hang out for the whole weekend. It's great. Get together and show off new stuff on our panel. We got a death battle panel coming up during RTX. We'll be showing off some new things. And also the RTX event just in general is changing up from previous years. It's now kind of imagine like a mini Epcot style convention show floor where there's a bunch of different attractions and events that are sort of set up throughout the entire event for every RT brand, like Ruby and Achievement Hunter, and of course Death Battle, and it's all wrapped up in like a summer camp theme. So go ahead and head to rtxaustin.com to get more information about the event and get your badge, and we hope to see you there. Okay, let's go ahead and end this poll. All right, so the final vote, the final score from the poll is Kiryu has 77% of the vote, 22% from Dom.
It's the same.
Wow. Okay.
Kiryu's just way stronger,
all right.
better, cooler, everything.
I wasn't crossing my fingers to win. I was crossing my fingers that the percent, because I saw the percentage, and when I saw it was on YouTube, it was the same one. I was like, please be the same, please be. I didn't even want it
pretty
to.
rough
I
one.
didn't even want it to get wider. I wanted it to stay exactly.
Exactly.
Exactly the same. I love it. I love it. Yeah. So Kiryu wins. Sorry, Josh. I think
Sorry,
you did
Josh.
a really good job arguing
Thank
for
you.
Dom, though.
No one
I've
did
been on
it
a
for
winning
Paul.
streak, so I'm okay with winning.
Yeah,
this time.
and just a quick
No, losing
thanks.
streak.
Thanks. There you go, JPEG. That's better than bars. Quick thanks to
You're talking about that's me.
Kage, Gelatin Man, Kinta Rex, everybody who gifted memberships and upgraded their memberships to Planet and Galaxy. Thank you. We appreciate it.
Appreciate you all. Yes. Huge support. Okay. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in. This was this was fun. I really like the idea. We've
Is
done
this
a
a good fight?
few car like matchups,
Yeah.
and I would love to do a car like a specifically
Yeah.
car food death battle at some point.
Yeah, that'd
Yeah.
be great. That'd be so
that
fun.
I
would
think
be
this is
so much
perfect for
fun.
this.
Yeah, definitely something to look into for the future. I'd love to try it out. But also, if anybody watching has any other ideas for a car foo fight, somebody else who fights like that.
Legitimately, we could do carts because there are so many cart games, and it's I know it's the Like a Dragon. Yakuza,
Yakuza 7.
Yakuza 7. There is a big like karting part of that game where there's a
Yeah.
lot of shit. You get missiles and stuff, and like it's
Yeah.
also
It's
very
Mario. It's like janky ass Mario Kart.
yeah. But
Love
there's
it.
definitely I think you could do a cart death battle one day. Just Crash Bandicoot,
Death Race.
Mario.
Yeah.
Bring Death Race back. Bring Death Race
Death
back.
Race,
I want
so
to
much
keep
fun.
writing really weird ass shit.
Definitely, yeah. All right. Well, thank you all so much for tuning in. If you are a member, you also make sure to tune into our community or our champion cast that we do every week that will air later on in the week. And stay tuned for our next death battle. We'll be showing a sneak peek, I believe, next week.
It looks so fucking good. It looks
Yeah.
so fucking good, dude. Holy shit.
I mean, can you tell who's directing that one? He's very excited. Yeah.
It's happening finally.
This will be the Dragonborn of Skyrim fame versus the Chosen Undead of Dark Souls. It's a big one. It's gonna be cool. All right. Well, thank you all. As always, be kind to others, be kind to yourself, be awesome, and we will see you next week. Take care.
Adios.
Hey.